guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Chantal Chambers, and today's video is going to be a lot. I already know it's gonna be a long one. As you can probably tell by the title, today's video is my personal experience from going from Christianity to New Age spirituality. I know spirituality is becoming so popular right now, and I'm telling you from now, I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing it because it's trendy. No, I've never been that type of person, never will be. Like a lot of people last year, my life changed, you know? Life as I knew it changed, as well as life as a lot of people knew it changed. And then quarantine happened, and like a lot of other people as well, I had a lot of time on my hands. And like a lot of people, in addition to that, I was trying to figure out what the hell is going on. I feel like no one knew what was going on. No one knew how stuff started going on or where, and who to hold accountable. And it was just a mess. It was a mess. I'm American, so I could only speak from the American side. But I personally did not think it was going to be as big as it was. Yes, I was taking it seriously, but I thought, okay, it's just another version of like the flu. But here we are, over a year later, and it is still a thing that we have to deal with. I went to YouTube to find other videos, different kinds of content that was pertaining to the topic at hand, and I found a bunch. Ooh, that was the start of a new chapter in my life, because I ran into so much information, and it was in the beginning stages, like the first 3-4 months, and I ran into a spirituality video, because if you're not hip on game about what's going on, it's basically spiritual warfare. And I already was a little intrigued with spirituality, like the year before that, like during that year, but I kind of brushed it off because I was just like, no, it's definitely not the direction where I want to go in. And I grew up fully Christian, like born in the church, raised in the church, childhood, the church, adolescence, the church, you know. So I was just like, let me just stay clear from that. And then I spoke to another friend of mine at the time about it, and he was very, very Christian, so he was just like, no. And I knew I couldn't speak to no one else in my family, because both sides of my family are still Christian, different denominations, but still Christian. So I was just like, you know what, let me just leave that alone. But I watched the spirituality video last year, and I was just like, wow. So, wow. That is a long intro. I'm trying not to be long-winded, because I know this video is already going to be long, but I just want to make sure that I'm saying everything that I want to say in this video, because I procrastinated on making it for so long. Spirituality and religion have been two polar opposites in our world forever, and I feel like now that I'm in my spiritual journey and I have learned to become more conscious of my subconscious and the programming of my subconscious, I've realized that everything that I thought I knew was half-truths. And if you're a spiritual person and you've read the Kabbalion, then they speak a lot about half-truths in there. But basically, we're not told everything. And I feel like during my research, I've learned that spirituality is not demonic. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. Spirituality is not demonic or new age. Like, who came up with this new age term? Like, spirituality is actually from the ancient of days. Like, spirituality has been around before human beings even knew how to communicate through English, through words. And the more that I looked into it, the more that I discovered and uncovered all of this truth that was hidden underneath layers and layers and layers of half-truths and lies. Ooh. And then I found the other side of YouTube, which was all these videos about New Age to Christianity, New Age to Jesus. I got rescued from Satan, God to Jesus. Like all variations of titles of videos pertaining to people speaking about their experience from transitioning from their spiritual journey to Christianity. And it was crazy because I actually was following a woman early in my spiritual journey that I found on YouTube, and she shared her journey, her experiences of growing up in the church Christian and then discovering spirituality and getting back to her roots. So she was such an inspiration to me, and I joined her Patreon just to get as much content from her as I could to help me on my own personal journey. As more of these New Age to Christianity videos came up in my recommendations and all that, I started to question myself still. And then the same YouTuber I was following, she made a video talking about how her whole life changed. She had some kind of epiphany and she's going back to Christianity. So that was like really discouraging for me, and it kind of made me take a step back and really reevaluate my values and what I was looking to get on this journey, and if I had enough of my own discernment to choose the right path for me. Through that, I decided to keep going forward, and I have discovered so much. And hell yes, it's been scary. Hell yes, it's been lonely. But I also feel so empowered. I feel like I'm looking at life differently. Like, my connection with nature is different. My relationship with other people is different. So, I'm making this video. This video is basically things that I learned during my spiritual journey that changed my life for the better. And really, I hope to shed a lot of light to you guys, the people who are also going through their own spiritual journey, who's going through the beginning stages, middle, has had few years in the game. Wherever you are in your journey, even if you are on the fence, which I can definitely relate to, I hope that this video is definitely an eye-opener for you, that encourages you, empowers you to really do your own research and find out the truth on your own terms, and really decide for yourself what truth is to you. So yeah, let's get into it. And if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone, so let's not judge each other. This is a loving space. Even if you disagree, it's all love here. All love. All love. Alright, so the first way that spirituality changed my life for the better is that it helped me stop thinking so limiting of myself and of my life. And it helped me open up myself to all the possibilities that could happen, because I can build my own reality if I build a healthier relationship with myself, my mind, and get out of the matrix. I know that's a mouthful. I know. But, guys, let me tell you, in my spiritual journey, in the beginning of it, I watched The Matrix. It wasn't my first time watching it. I watched it when it first came out because I'm that old. But I definitely was not hip on game with all of the things, all the truth they were throwing in that movie. Wow, when you watch that movie again with your third eye open, whoo, yo. And then it was a wrap for me when it came to me watching movies, because I would be peeping at, they hide the truth in plain sight. So basically, if you haven't watched The Matrix, I definitely recommend that you do. I am going to be making a video or TikTok or IG reel about videos, documentaries that I watched that helped open my third eye and start my spiritual journey, so look out for that. But The Matrix is basically a reality that you do not construct yourself, which means that you are not in control of it. And the big reason why you're not in control of it is because you have been programmed to think, believe, act a certain way about a certain set of ideals that make you who you are. So you also are distracted, you're entertained, so that you are so focused on living in this rat race of going to school, getting a job, paying bills, paying debt, working hard, barely making it, getting a vacation 1 week a year, and just watching reality TV, getting caught up on simply drama, and just not realizing that you are in a program and you're just going in a cycle like this. But it's so hard to unplug yourself from the matrix, because the matrix started once you entered in this life, So just like, I am 27. I've been in this thing for 27 years, not having a clue I was up in this game. I was like, what? So when I realized that I can take back control of my life by realizing that I am not even this physical body that they're trying to control, and to get even deeper, even though I'm not this physical vessel, I am a light being that is controlling this physical vessel. So if you kind of think about it, who has the control over me really? Who has the control? Me, because I'm the soul, and this body just an avatar for this life, just getting me through emotions, just making me experience what I need to experience so that I can learn my lessons, deal with my karma, and just be out of this bitch, So when I realized that I have the power, and this life, this reality that I thought was my end all be all, this rat race that made my soul so uncomfortable. It started to make sense. It was crazy. But it was just like a light bulb just went off in my head. It was amazing. Also, another big thing was that I realized that I believe in God. I believe in non-physical force, but I don't believe in religion. And this one was a hard one for me, because religion is one of the things that they use to control you in this matrix. And I'm really trying not to get super heavy in this video. I really want it to be really positive, because like I said, spirituality is getting a bad rep nowadays. But I had to really when I uncovered the truth about religion and Christianity and everything that I thought I knew, that's when my dark night of the soul began. And if you don't know what dark night of the soul is, it is a phase, chapter in your life where you are so overwhelmed by all this new information and processing it and learning how to integrate it into your life that you just get so depressed. You get depressed, you get lonely, you start to doubt yourself. It's called dark night of the soul for a reason. And I heard that term very early into my spiritual journey, and it wasn't until months in that I realized that I was experiencing it. So yeah, Christianity, where do I begin? Christianity is a astro-theological book. I think I said that right. If I didn't, I would write the correction on
about Christianity. Now, if you don't want to know the truth and want to remain a Christian, I advise you leave this video. And if any Christians want to comment, make sure you comment on every point that I made in this video. Don't just cherry pick. Now, let's talk about Adam and Eve. The first thing I want to know is, since when did woman come from man? How does Eve come from Adam's rib, but everybody else comes from a woman's womb? What a coincidence that the first man on this earth was named Adam, but the first Egyptian deity was named Atum. You want to know another coincidence? See how the full word of DNA has rib in there? And Eve allegedly came from Adam's rib? I just find it funny how the DNA structures resembles a rib. But y'all love to say I'm reaching, so I guess that's an actual coincidence, huh? You know what? I found this as a coincidence too. How that symbolizes the womb, life, and this symbolizes somebody dying on the cross. I guess this is a coincidence too. It's crazy how Virgo in Latin is virgin. The Virgo symbol is literally an M, and that's where you get married. You know another coincidence? That looks like Jesus' fish. Everything in the Bible is allegorical, based on shit that happened way before Christianity and astrology. Holy Bible translates to Helios Biblios in Greek, and that literally means sun book. Before the Holy Bible, we had the Book of Ra. Speaking of Ra, I want y'all to pay attention to that sun on top of his head. Now, Ra was the sun god of Egypt. Just look at how every painting of Jesus has a sun on the back of his head and not on the top like Ra, the sun god of Egypt. They took sun god and reversed it to the son of God. Jesus is just the sun. How you think he refers to himself as the light of the world? What a coincidence that Jesus had 12 disciples and there's 12 zodiacs. You see why he's the son of God? And you go to church on Sunday? That's where Jesus gets his crown of thorns from. But speaking of the sun, I love to say, God's real. He came down on Mount Sinai. That burn mark was from the sun. The sun was at its zenith point, it burnt the top of the mountain. How would God come down and then tell you it was him if the whole point of the Bible is to have faith? The whole thing is allegory, it's just symbolic. It even says it in the Bible, which things are an allegory. Y'all know that little thing y'all do in church when y'all drink the blood of Jesus and eat the cracker? But one that's literally cannibalism, symbolic to eating bones and drinking blood. Or two that came from the Ptolemies. Ptolemy's son and grandson used that to make Egyptians worship Serapis. That was all back in 100 AD, and Christianity just got here 6,000 years ago. Before y'all say black people made the Bible, the first Bible was found in Ethiopia. In 350 AD, the elites went to Ethiopia and they indoctrinated the Ethiopians with Christianity. Y'all forgetting that our oppressors is still behind all this shit. And y'all talk about how the Bible is real because everything in the Bible is happening now. Y'all do know that the elites of this world is very advanced in technology, right? Inside the laboratory, Gary Wolf and Russ Snow have made a completely new species of locust that is genetically engineered to eat insects and destroy crops. The irresistible scent makes locusts swarm, steady finds. And they tell y'all in the Bible that the locusts gonna swarm. See, they plan all this shit. After the bunch of Dead Sea Scrolls, Jesus' crown, robe, nails. I'm just tired. Why am I still having this argument? This shit's not real, bro. I literally forgot that people still believed in this shit until I hopped on TikTok. It's a lot y'all don't know about this world. We've been lied to. And I talk about the truth on my page. So just watch my videos with an open mind. You can see that I'm not just making this shit up. I'm trying to help y'all. I'm not even gonna say nothing. Just pause it and read it. But I love y'all. Follow for more.
There are so many half-truths when it came to the foundations of Christianity. Like, my ancestors from Kemet, they did not know anything about Christianity because it did not exist. They were spiritual people. They connected with nature. They were so advanced. Much more advanced than we even are now. Even though we try to boast and be all prideful about how we are reaching new heights. What? My ancestors who built the pyramids at exact 45-degree angle to Orion in the sky? My ancestors that had such a relationship with nature and each other and just had reverence for all aspects of life and just knew how to have a connection with earth that was mutually beneficial and not be full of greed and just be focused on learning what you need to learn in this life and advancing. And when I learned about how the pharaohs in Egypt and how the serpent is symbolic of their elevation of consciousness. And I was watching Young Pharaoh and he connected that to the serpent in the Garden of Eden and how Adam and Eve, they weren't as conscious about a lot of things. And I guess God was trying to shelter them so that they can live a more ignorance is bliss kind of life. When they got tempted by the serpent that was offering them a plethora of knowledge to elevate their consciousness of their life, they took it, and then what happened immediately after that? They gained the consciousness, They started to become aware of stuff that they weren't even aware of yet. And that's where the guilt and the fear and the shame came in. And that was the downfall of humanity, according to the Bible. The letter J wasn't even created until the 15th century. So how was Jesus' name Jesus? Look up the Council of Nicaea, the council of all these people who he believed had some kind of authority in the world at the time, in their region, and they rewrote the Bible. On top of that, there are books that were written within the time frame of the books that are in the Bible today that have been completely omitted. Why? Basically, I learned about the occult, which is basically the hidden knowledge that has been used against us for centuries, and especially used to twist Christianity that people need to be a part of so that they can have a happily ever after. And I looked on my own church. There's been scandals in the church of pastors cheating on their wives. There's been scandals with men just being predators on younger girls. There's been scandals where grown people cheat on each other. There's been scandals where people get kicked out the church because they do a human thing. And they supposedly can't be forgiven for that human thing. So yeah, I was just like, come on. There's been scandals where pastors take all the money that's for the church and they just be out, MIA. You know, it's crazy. I just learned to just get into my soul, my inner being, my light force, and just realize that I am in control of my own life, and that all these structures, these social constructs that I have been built to believe are the standard of my life and what I need to live up to are not true. That's it. Number two is that my spiritual journey confirms my childhood experience with my psychic abilities. Basically awareness of soul, the different dimensions, and the communication with entities. So I always felt I was different. My whole life, especially my childhood, I've just felt so freelance. I just was a free kid. I loved playing outside. I loved reading and jumping into all these different worlds. I loved learning about things. I enjoyed school, enjoyed doing my homework. I was happy. But I always felt like there were like different, I felt energy and I didn't know how to pinpoint it, and I just brush it off because, like I said, I grew up in the church and I learned that those kind of things are like, no, that's a big no-no. And it didn't help that my mom, like, my family's from Jamaica, and voodoo is a big thing in that culture and is really looked down upon. And my mom always, when I was younger, she always told me and my sisters stories of her like having like interactions with dubbies, which is basically spirits. So I always was like turned off from anything that I felt that was not physical, if that makes sense. And there's also, referring to the Bible, there is a story in the Bible where someone hears someone calling their name and they are confused because they don't see anyone around them, so they like call out, and then like Jesus or God replies. So I've had some situations of that myself when I was younger, where I would hear someone calling my name. Yes, it was my sisters messing with me half the time, but other half the time I would go to them like, why did you call me? Like, you playing around, stop playing. And they'd be like, no, I didn't call you. And another thing was, one time I really distinctively remember in my childhood was I was at home and I was washing the dishes. I was by myself in the kitchen, and I heard someone call my name. And it wasn't my sister because she was not that far away from me. So I was just looking around. I was like, maybe if I respond to it, then I would get some kind of response back. So I was just like, God, it's Chantal. I hear you. And my sisters laughed at me for like forever. Even to this day, when we bring it up, they still laugh at me. But I knew I heard them. I knew I heard someone call my name. Okay, you can tell me that wasn't true. There was times that I felt like I interacted with spirits like in a personal way. So in my religion, which was Seventh-day Adventist, we have our own version of like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. They're together, but they are separated by age group. And one of the big things that we partake in is going to camp, and we do our honors, we do our examinations to get to the next age group class. It's a big thing. So there was one time when I went to camp in Long Island. No, it wasn't Long Island. I don't know, but it was Montauk. And it was such bad weather that whole entire week. It was raining, pouring. The wind was crazy. The floor was freezing. So we were in our tents. One night, I woke up to go use the bathroom. And I didn't want to wake anyone else up because we were already up so late. So I decided to go by myself to the bathroom because it wasn't that far away anyway. So I get myself ready to go to the bathroom, walk to the bathroom. I walk to the bathroom, there's no one there. I go in the stall to do my business or whatever. And when I'm in the stall, I hear 3 other people walk in, of course women. So they were talking to each other while they walk into the stalls, and I hear them using the bathroom, whatever, but they're still talking. So of course, since I was the first one in there, I'm the first one to come out the stall to wash my hands and get back to my tent. So I get out the stall and I'm washing my hands, and I hear them get out the stall as well. So they get out the stall and we introduce ourselves to each other, say hi. They're really friendly. Till this day, I can't remember what they look like, but I do know that they looked human. And I was just having a regular conversation with them. They asked me if I was okay, if I knew where I was going back to, where my campsite was, just to make sure I got back safely. And I responded, yes, I know, it's not that far off, and I'm about to go back now. So as I'm saying that, I'm walking out the bathroom, and they're walking out behind me because by then they already washed their hands and everything. So I am walking out, and I'm turning to go in the direction of my campsite, and I look back to say bye to them because they were so nice to me. I just want to say bye, and no one there. And it wasn't like I was freaked out or anything. It was just like, oh, that was interesting. It wasn't until I told the story to other people that I realized that, oh, that was definitely spirits. It's just so crazy because they always say that children, even in scary movies, they can see different things. They're on different frequencies and they're more free. Their brain isn't as blocked with negative things like self-doubt and fear. So they're more inclined, more open for these interactions. And I just feel like after you become like older, as time goes by, you start to really see the world as it is. And a lot of adults who already have had their own negative experiences in life, they try to shelter you, protect you from any harm that you may experience in your personal life. But that also might result in shutting down parts of yourself that make you you. And I feel like that's why a lot of adults, they're really unhappy because they shut down parts of themselves earlier in their childhood, earlier in their adolescence, because people didn't give them the support they needed to really explore that part of themselves even more. So yeah, I'm going on a tangent, but I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Another way that I realized that I was tapping into awareness now looking back is that when I smoke, I, like a lot of people, my brain elevates to another level of consciousness, and I feel like that's why so many people get paranoid, because they start thinking about things on a deeper level, without like even realizing that they are. And then when they do, they end up in a dark headspace because they've never been in that part of themselves before, and they start questioning things, and then things get very blurred. But within the first year of me smoking, when I first started smoking in college, I had a notes page in my notes app on my phone where I would write down epiphanies that I had, things that would come to me when I was high, because I just felt like once I started thinking deeper about things, I would get so much insight, and my intuition would tell me like, okay, this is how you feel about this. So I would just write it down so I can remember it when I'm sober, and then I'll go back and read it, and it would just be extra confirmation for whatever I was going through. So now in my spiritual journey, and I'm looking back on that, I'm like, wow, that was actually my conscious self recognizing my subconscious and having a conversation with it about things that were bothering me. Because even things that I repressed, pushed to the side, the back of my mind, they would always come up when I was high, and it would just be like a roller coaster of emotions. I've had epiphanies about school, I've had epiphanies about career, I had epiphanies about myself, my relationships with other people, getting closure on tough situations. It was so healing for me, and now that I look back, I see that was definitely my spirit, my higher self speaking to me, literally. So yeah. Number 3 is that my spirituality helped me become a happier person, a more peaceful person. I'm such at peace. Now that I've gone through the dark night of the soul, and I kind of have a better idea of the rabbit hole and kind of the things that I'm unpacking, unlearning, relearning, I have really learned to just be at peace with my life, especially knowing that I'm in control of it. And a big part that really helps me achieve this level of inner peace and happiness is just realizing that I'm a soul, and I've lived multiple lifetimes, and I've came here to earth in this exact time period, to this exact family, to have these exact people in my life, just so that I can have the experience that I need to heal the parts of me that need healing, so that I can elevate in all ways possible and transcend or ascend, so I can ascend. And just knowing that and realizing all the lies, all the half-truths, and knowing the real truth, and learning how to just know the difference between those, and knowing how to pick them out in this constant wave of information that we're getting from mainstream media, from our friends and family, from just everything. Another big thing that I've learned since starting my spiritual journey is that not to take other people's expectations, opinions, beliefs personally, because like I said, we're all souls having a human experience, and we're all here to have particular experiences so that we can learn from them and become better people. And I feel like everyone's on different parts in their personal journeys, and sometimes they may project whatever they're going through on you. The sun is going really in and out right now, but we're gonna stick with it. If someone's lashing out on me and I didn't have any problems with them, nothing, no kind of tension we had prior to that, I'm like, all right, this is not personal. This is something that you're going through within yourself, and you're not actively working on fixing that issue, so you're just projecting it on whoever's nearby, which in that situation is me. And I've just learned not to take the expectations that other people have for me personally, because that's another reflection of their own journeys and their own past experiences. And I need to focus on myself, trust myself to pick the right experiences for me. We have been conditioned to think that there's only one way to be successful in this life, and there's not. And I'm tired of being like suffocated by other people's opinions and what they think that I should be and live my life. So yeah, I'm more at peace knowing that I'm in control. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do, and I trust myself enough to make the right decisions for me. And I've learned to feel my feelings. Like, if people hurt me, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that didn't have any effect on me. I don't care if they walk out of my life. I don't care if they do this and that and that. I could care less. Whatever, I'm on to the next person. I'm focused on me. Like, no, we are humans. We are humans. We're here to have experiences, and our thoughts and our emotions are part of that experience. And once you kind of discredit or brush off the other aspects, how can you fully heal if you don't have the complete experience, you know? And I feel like a lot of people have blocked themselves off emotionally because of what they've gone through, and instead of healing, they just try to stop other people from making their same mistake, you know? And then that person gets stopped, and then they don't get to fulfill their life's journey because they were held back, you know, by the same conditioning that whoever told the person that told them is under. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't compare myself to other people because life is not a competition. Like Nipsey said, it is a marathon, not a race. I'm on my own journey, so why do I need to compare my journey to yours? Like, my journey is completely lit. It's customized for me. Why do I want your life? Make it make sense, honey? And I just understand that everything is energy, and I have to protect my energy, because no matter how much you love someone, no matter how much someone means so much to you and you care about them, they're gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. So you have to learn to like let people go and make them go in their own way, and you just focus on you. And you just have to decide when is the stop point when it comes to you giving your energy to certain people and certain situations. And I'm up on game now. Okay, so the fourth way that my spiritual journey has helped me in a great way and changed my life for the better is that it helped with my anxiety and depression. It kind of piggybacks off of the last point, but yeah, because I'm so much happier, so much at peace. I learned not to take things personally. I just learned to let all of the negative baggage go. I've had so much emotional baggage that I didn't uncover until I started doing my shadow work during my spiritual journey. And I would even get epiphanies throughout my spiritual journey. This is your trigger. This is how you respond to this. This is what you don't like. These are your boundaries. And people just have to respect it. And I feel like the people that respect it are people that have respect for other people. And people who don't respect it are people who are really selfish. And they don't understand that we're here to live in harmony with each other. They're mostly thinking about how they can take advantage of the situation and get more than they give. And I've been so emotional when I just think about my journey and how I wish I started earlier. But like I said, everything's meant to happen on its own time. So I'm just grateful that I'm here. I don't really feel depressed anymore. I do get anxious still, but I am so much better with figuring out my triggers and just finding better coping mechanisms, better ways to responding to an attack than just closing myself off and just accepting defeat. So the fifth way that spirituality has changed my life for the better, and I'm so much happier, is that it allowed me to reconnect with spirit, nature, my African roots, and my ancestors. So I mentioned it earlier in this video, but I learned about Kemet and the Kemet culture and their ideologies and how advanced they were, and how they were astronomers, and they were like masters in metaphysics, and they had awareness of spirit and connection with nature, and they just knew that there was more than this one life. And I feel like knowing that has really intrigued me. It really made me feel more like a belonging to like where I come from and my roots. After I realized about like how ancestors and spirit guides and how they help you in your life, even though you can't see them, but they are always on your side, cheering you on, providing divine guidance, just being there for you in all ways. I just felt so comforted, and I don't know, I just felt warm inside. And I was just felt proud to be Black, so proud. I remember in the beginning of my my journey, and I learned about melanin and how melanin is condensed sunlight, and how Black people have melanin, and it helps more than just when it comes to pigmentation of the skin. Oh my gosh, I did so much research. I made a whole like infographic like Instagram post about it, so I'll link it down below. And then like the neuromelanin and how it helps with the pineal gland, which is your third eye. Woo! It was amazing. And then I learned about like the deities, and I learned about the Anunnaki. And then another book that really helped me was Sacred Woman. I'm not sure if you can see it, but Sacred Woman by Queen Afura. That book is very helpful, especially if you're a woman. It really combines spirituality with wellness and just healing your womb and making sure that you're stepping in your divine feminine, basically. So that really helped me a lot. And I also learned a lot about astrology. I went through a phase when I was younger, like in high school or middle school, where I would have to read my horoscope every day, every morning. And then I was obsessed. It was like addiction. And then I kind of got guilt from it because of my religious background, so I stopped. But then now knowing more about astrology and your birth chart and how those different aspects of your birth chart make up who you are, because it's basically a map of the time that your soul decided to reincarnate into the physical vessel that you're in now. And we all know that the moon already has a pull on the earth. We already know the sun has a big impact on the earth. And the planets do as well, and the planets have impact on us individually based on the location of those planets, the time of our birth in this life. So that was really interesting, and it really basically was another confirmation of my personality, of my values, of how I deal with situations, my relationship with people, what I look for in those relationships, what I struggle with. It was so eye-opening. So I recommend that everyone does their birth chart, whether you're spiritual or religious, because it does matter. And it's so insightful if you don't know what your purpose is, if you feel like you're in a rut, if you just want to know more about yourself. Oh my gosh, and then another thing was angel numbers. Angel numbers started showing up to me very, very earlier on in my spiritual journey. Like, before I made it, like, okay, I'm gonna go on a spiritual journey, I used to see 333 multiple times a day, multiple times, not even looking for it, going about my life, living it as much as I could. During quarantine, I would see it. And then it was 11, I would see all, like, every single time I would see 11, and I started getting freaked out. And that's when I started to really dig deeper into my spiritual journey. And since then, I've been seeing different angel numbers. And it's so crazy. When I would look it up, it would confirm exactly where I was right now. It would give me reassurance, some divine guidance about what direction I need to go in next, which is very helpful. And the more I got into my spiritual journey, the more I see angel numbers everywhere. Like, I used to take pictures of them every single time in the beginning and post them on my story, like, guys, like, here's evidence, I'm going through my journey, like, this is meant for me to happen right now. And then I was just like, I can't be taking screenshots and pictures of every single time, because it's just so many times, and I love it. I feel like it's just a reminder to me that spirit's on my side, my ancestors and spirit guides are on my side, and they're working with me. They're working in my favor to really make sure that I live the best life and I fulfill my highest purpose, and I become my high self, which is amazing. All right, we have two more. Number 6, the 6th way that my spiritual journey changed my life for the better is that it helped me be on a spiritual diet. I was already vegetarian. I've been working out regularly for the past 2 years. But when I learned about the spirit and the soul, and it really helped me build my mental strength. Like, especially when I learned about chakras and how you have different chakras in your body, and they all are related to different things, different body parts, different parts of you, and how it can be blocked, unblocked, or overactive. But when I do my meditations, I do affirmations for each chakra just to make sure that they're balanced, they're open, they're functioning properly, so my energy can flow and not be blocked. And one time I was meditating, and multiple times, a few times, I'll be meditating, I'll feel the kundalini energy just like spiraling throughout my body. Oh my gosh, I can't describe it, but it was nice. But yeah, so when I would work out, I would say in my affirmations like, I am strong, I am stronger than I think I am, I am capable of amazing things, I can do hard things, and it would really motivate me and really empower me to continue my workout and get it done, because I know that when you are aligned mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, you become your higher self. And I want to be my higher self, and I've always had issues with my body, my self-image, and just knowing that I have the power to actually make significant changes in my life, especially with my body, to be more confident, get lean, achieve the shape that I want to achieve, that just puts the fire in me to keep going in my fitness journey. It helped me really learn more about herbs. Like, we already know I love Mary Jane, and we already know that CBD has become popular within the last 2 years, but just to know that there are herbs that grow in most places that could be a solution to almost everything that you go through was mind-blowing to me. Like, I don't want to mess that up, but I have a herbal book, and it goes through all the herbs from A to Z, and it provides different ways that you can use each herb to really help you. I also started using essential oils in different ways. I got a diffuser, and my diffuser changes colors. So if I want to focus on a certain chakra, I would put it on that color, and I would put an essential oil that corresponds to that chakra in it, and I would do my meditation or whatever, just have it on. Or I would go through the whole colors, just leave it like that. Oh, and it was so nice. When I got COVID, I really relied on herbs a lot to really help me with my inflammation that I was experiencing, to really loosen up that mucus and really break it up. and so that I can overcome the virus and get better. And I don't know what I would do without that, the herbs that I used. Being vegetarian, being pretty health conscious before this, I always knew about alkaline lifestyle, alkaline diet. I drink my alkaline water right here, Trader Joe's. But I never realized like how life-changing it could be. So especially during me having the virus and being sick, I really learned about the alkaline foods and how helpful they can be, especially if you're sick, and to prevent any other further illnesses. Last but not least, this is the 7th way that my spiritual journey has helped me a lot, and it is that it just strengthened my intuition. I mentioned it throughout this video, but your intuition is basically your higher self talking to you, and it's not logical all the time. It doesn't have a logic basis, so sometimes you may doubt yourself, you might brush it off because you're like, where's this coming from? Like, I don't have any confirmation of where it's coming from, so I don't know if I can trust it. But there's so many times that I trust my intuition and I end up in the exact place where I need to be. Or there have been times where I didn't trust my intuition and things just backfired, blew up in my face, and I was like, damn, see, you should have trusted your intuition. And now that I know about the self and the soul and the connection between that and your intuition, I just lean on my own discernment even more. Like, no one can tell me anything when it comes to decisions I make for myself, because I trust myself, I trust my intuition, and I know that wherever I'm meant to be, I will end up in. And because I trust my intuition, I am not as fearful as like the standard person when it comes to trying new things, putting yourself out there, just doing things that make you uncomfortable. And also another thing is that my manifestations have started coming true. Like, I know manifestation is very popular now, it's overhyped, it's trendy, but it really does work. And a big key thing that I learned is that we are manifesting our lives every single second. And it starts with your thoughts. And the way that we think really shapes the life that we live. And just thinking about certain stuff, I would realize that, oh, this is possible, that is possible. Or there'll be times where I'll be thinking about something or someone, and then it will just, that person will either call me, text me, reach out to me in some way. Or if I'm just thinking about something, then I will see it on my phone, on the TV, someone will bring it up to me. Like, it happens on a consistent basis now. And I am not freaked out anymore. I'm just like, alright, this is just spirit working. There was one time where I was home and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, the house is so dirty. Like, good thing we don't have random people coming. If anything, it would be my sister that comes to the house. But she lives in Virginia, so there's no way she's gonna be here. 10 minutes after that, she surprised me and my family by coming to the house unannounced. Like, it was little things like that. It was just confirmation that I am doing what I need to be doing. I am in tune with myself and I'm on the right path. Like, it's just, that's it. So yeah, another thing is that it just helps me to be more mindful. Now that I know that I'm manifesting everything in my life all the time, and I'm learning that everything is energy, and you start to create your reality with your thoughts, I have been more mindful about my awareness. So I try to be more in the present moment. I try to soak up everything that's happening right now instead of focusing on the past or the future, because all we have is right now, really. Mindfulness is a big part of spirituality because we're so used to being on the go and our minds being on the go. Like me, I know in my head I'll be having 10, 20 like tabs open. And literally on my physical laptop on NOLA, I will open my computer and have that many tabs open, and just be switching back and forth and not getting anything really done. And I would tell myself, Chantal, be mindful, be present, be mindful, be present. And then I'll be like, okay, what do you want to do right now? What are you going to commit to? And that's how I start to reprogram myself to really be more productive. Overall, just to conclude this video, I am in such a happier, lighter, healthier place. Like, I just feel so happy. I am comfortable in my own company. I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with where I am because I know that there's more to this life than this life. And I know that I have different energies working with me. And I know that my discernment is everything. I know that I don't have to be a victim of my own life. I don't have to accept defeat on anything. But I also know when to let things go, let people go, when to move on from situations, when to not take things seriously, when to have more fun in life, just be more present, be more mindful, work on the shadow side of myself that I try to hide, that I'm not as proud of as the part of myself that I showcase to other people, to the world. I understand why some people may go the other way from like New Age spirituality to Christianity. But me, in my journey in this lifetime here on earth, I am going from Christianity to New Age spirituality, and I don't have any regrets. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel any evil spirits all around me. I feel connected. I feel comforted. I feel clarity. I have so much clarity. I feel conscious, and I know that not everyone is gonna agree in my decision, and I know that this video might bring up a lot of questions, more questions than answers maybe, and I know how it feels to be watching a video like this and being like, I can relate, but I still don't know where I stand, and that's okay. Like I said, your life is your journey, and that is the great thing about it. A lot of people are overwhelmed by the journey, but the journey is so much fun. Once you realize not to take this human shit like seriously, you get to actually discover what it really means to live. You're no longer focusing on other things, and you can be happy. So I hope this inspires you. I hope that you learned something new in this video. I hope you're smiling. I'm sending you positive vibes. And if you haven't already, check the description box. I'm gonna have some good stuff down there. Most importantly, subscribe so that you can see my face again and I can see you. Give this video a thumbs up so we can beat the algorithm and really show people that spirituality is not demonic and that is not New Age, it's from the ancient of days, and to really open more people's eyes up, to wake them up to this multi-layered reality, that they don't have to be a victim of, to free themselves, to liberate themselves, to not really rely on what people say as fact, to find your own truths, to go on your own way. To be happy, not to be a slave to anyone or anything, to any system, not to be a slave, and not to be ignorant of the possibilities of this life, not to be arrogant about it either. So I'm gonna stop here because I know this is already a long video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.